Live. Take a moment and like the Facebook page. Subscribe to the YouTube page and hit the bell. Text Larry Reid Live to 33222. That's the words Larry Reid Live with no spaces to 33222 and get notified when we go live. Become a member of the Patreon. Log on to LarryReidLive.com, click Patreon, sign up, download the Patreon app, and turn on your notifications. Get connected today.
This platform discusses any and all information that has been made known to the public in any way. Now, if the information creates conversation that I feel like it need to be had up here and be a feature story on the LRL platform, then I'm going to do it. Now, remember, I am not a journalist. I am a commentator, a comedic commentator. And all the information that is shared here, whether it's a post in the YouTube community or in our mega secular church Facebook, it's always assumed to be alleged, but the commentary gonna always be real. Hit like, hit share, tell naughty dolly every done body that Larry Live is on. Let's go. It is 10/12/20 on Monday night. Welcome to Larry Reid Live. We're here every single Monday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Don't you forget it. And how can you make sure that you know when we are live? You must text Larry Live to 33222. Do it right now so you can be signed up. We can text you because y'all do know that YouTube and Facebook be tripping. And I want to make sure that our one paper Bible saved secular church in 2 locations can be notified and know when their absolute most favorite digital entertainment news and talk show is on the airways. Hello, my name is Larry D. Reid, and I am the host of Larry Live. And for many of you, I'm your most favorite secular man of God. And I want you to know that tonight is a great show. And you need to let everybody that you know that we are on, because we have your most trusted name in prophecy, who I like to call America's black prophet of God. I want you to make sure you know that he's black. That's right, Cushite, African from over there, melanin, all in his skin. But God has blessed him over and over again and again. I'm rhyming already. The prophetic is here. Now, this is what I want everyone to know, that I am so thankful for every like and every share, every donation, every sign up, everybody that talked good and bad about me. Thank you for being an advocate of this brand. I want you to tell everybody that Larry Live is your absolute most favorite show. Don't you be ashamed. Hit share. And go ahead and hit the like right now. Follow us on all social media, on IG at LarryReidLive, on Twitter at LarryReidLive, on Facebook at LarryReidLive, on YouTube at LarryReidLive. Make sure you follow us everywhere. And of course, you need to sign up and become a patron. There is a platform called Patreon, but we done built something way better than them, but we're still using them right now. If you become a patron tonight on 10/12/20, annual, 12 months, tonight, you can do so at 40 cents a day. Now, let me tell you something about Patreon. And if you're in the chat, patrons, tell these folk, you get so much information, so much empowerment, so much therapy. That's right, we have professionals over there. education, information. We had two medical workers last night that deal with COVID patients, shared so many things. Man, I'm telling you, so much happens there. You need to make the investment in yourself and for your family, and give me a year with you, and I promise you, I would have grown you. It's one of my special anointings, grown you in 12 months. Not only I make you laugh, but you learn something. Laugh and learn with the LarryReidLive brand. Don't just be out here in the entertainment piece. Get over there in the empowerment and educational. So our patrons are a key part of what the MBN Network does by way of LarryReidLive. So thank you for being a patron. Then all of you that are watching me that want to make that decision, go to LarryReidLive.com right now on your other device. You know you got 2 or 3, and some of y'all got whole lines. That line don't nobody know nothing about, that burner phone. Go use that one right now and go to LarryReidLive.com and click Patreon and become a patron. Do not use your Facebook name to sign up, because sometimes it glitches over there. That's why we move them from them, because they don't even. We got somebody smarter than them that done built us a nice interface. And so October the 31st, you only have to the 31st to do an annual. After that, we're taking away that option, and then the prices go up. Lock in and invest in your mind, heart, spirit, and your business. And I want to say thank you to each and every one of you that always send stuff in the mail. Every donation, every Venmo, every Cash App, every Zelle, every text to give, you send what you send. Thank you so much. You keep us strong and on our own. And I want to repeat, you keep us strong and on our own. I feel like a third time, one for the Father, one for the Son, one for the Holy Ghost. You keep us strong and on our own. Don't have to get in the bed with nobody. We can say whatever needs to be said about anybody. So thank you. If any time you laugh, you learn. Tonight you're going to learn more than anything. You might laugh because the Bishop has a sense of humor. At any time, I want you to hit and support this platform. Something that he said every time we come on live. You never go watch a movie for an hour or two and you don't have a cover. So do something. You can hit the Venmo. You can hit the Cash App at MBNNetwork, at MBNNetwork, or $MBNNetwork, or Zelle info at the MBNNetwork.org, or you can text the word give right now to 404-800. It is hot in here. Jesus Lamb, can y'all turn the thing up? I'm about to burn up. I live so this don't happen. Don't want to go to hell. Jesus Lamb. I'm sorry. Text the word give to 404-800-4530 or 780 Morosgo Drive Northeast. That's where I hear from all the church mothers. They always say, baby, you just make me laugh. God bless you. And it be wrote in scribble. 780. You know, the old folk don't really know how to write. They don't really know how to write, but they just full of the Holy Ghost. But they don't know how to write. 780 Morosgo Drive Northeast. Number 244-224, Atlanta, Georgia 30324. All right. It's time to bring in my mentor. That's right. He's my mentor. Now, I seen somebody out there talking about that Bishop Jordan was their mentor, and I ain't never seen you in the prophetic, what's it called, propheticology. I ain't seen you in nothing. Verbalical. You know, we got avatars. You know, we be over in the avatars talking to us. Y'all ain't even in the future like my mentor is. You know, we got all that kind of stuff going. I ain't never seen you. I don't know who you is. Quit lying on your page about he dead. Do you tithe? Do you send your seeds? Do you send your tarama? If you don't, you're none of his. Quit your lying. And you ain't my sibling to my, oh, that's our dad. No, it ain't. You a bastard. No, you're a whole bastard. Quit telling that tale. You got no daddy, not in no E. Bernard Jordan, you ain't. Quit your mess. Nah. I can't stand when folk be lying, trying to connect their brand to folk. And talking about, no, you was in that same line of folk talking about he was selling prophecies and don't want none of his stuff coming to pass. What do you say now that you done seen written judgments? And if you ain't seen it, go to bishopjordan.com right now and download, you sit on your screen, written judgments, where he told all of us what's happening right now. And y'all pastors and y'all prophets ain't tell y'all nothing. But we got the details, and we got him part 11 tonight. Really, it's the 12th time he been here. But part 11, he's with us. The church and the pandemic. You want to know what's about to happen? Listen to this man. I introduce to you your most trusted name in prophecy, America's black prophet of God, my mentor, my spiritual father. Bother him, I kill you. E. Bernard Jordan. What's up, Bishop?
Larry, how are you doing?
I'm
The
doing.
one and only.
You say it again?
You are the one and only. There's only one Larry Reid. Only one.
I don't know if the world could take a whole lot of these.
You know what? The situation is that everyone was born original, but most men die copies.
Wow. Okay, already.
And
Most men are born. You say most or all?
all men are born originals. You're given an original footprint, an original fingerprint. But most people live their life not as original, but they will die a copy.
Wow.
Most people never get to find their authentic voice. And when you find your authentic voice will look wrong because it doesn't look like anyone else's.
Whoa.
And your ability to stand in your authenticity until it begins to assimilate into the culture is a journey by itself that you have to go through processes until you unfold. But there will be a time when God begins to declare you, and then the world begins to taste of the fruit of what you have processed. That's just the journey of life.
What? Bishop, you just summed me up my last few years. What's what we're gonna do tonight? I don't know how much of this I can take. Okay, I don't know what happened. I saw the camera move on that end, and then it went away. So I don't know what happened. But we need time to chew on that anyway. Can I get that back up and email that back over there to them? I don't know what happened. But did you hear what he said? You have to sit looking like what nobody else looks like for a period of time. And as you sit with that, then you come into your voice and into your originality. You got to send them the link. What are you doing? What do you mean? That's not how you create a link. You go back to the rendezvous session. What in the world? Okay, hit cancel. Go down to go in the call box. No, there. Erase that. You have to end that. Now add there. That's interesting. That ain't what that does. I wonder why something happened on their end. And let's make sure, yeah, it's something on their end. Okay, let's make sure that Legs has open in Google. No. It will show up right there. That's something on there, and I can't do anything about that. So you have to sit as a miss until you show up and are declared by God to all of who you are. And at that point, men going to request and refer to you. Jesus! Why ain't nobody tell me that a long time ago? I could have been clear on what was happening. I did not know what was going on at the time. I did not understand what was happening to me. Keep checking that call box, Kendall. Go to the call box and click there and add. It should show up there at some point in time. The arrow, hit the arrow beside rendezvous. Open it back up. I don't know what happened there. That is interesting. So they must have shut down. Let me see. Let me just call Bishop on the phone then. Let me call him on the phone, find out what's going on. Have him call me. It's saying waiting for connection on your end. Okay. Wow, this is crazy. Already that quick. I mean, that was a bomb that was dropped. Hit the cancel again. Can I keep refreshing that? And find it. Hit the X beside down there on the bottom. Go to another square right there. Hit that. Okay, yeah. So it's not even showing up. It's not showing up at all. I don't know what it is. Keep checking the call box though. All right, so he's gonna call in so we can get back into the conversation. Technology. All right, so he's here. This ain't even plugged up over here. All right, hold on, Bishop. We're gonna plug up this other mic. Or is it plugged up? No, it's not. Just gotta find the end to it. I'll just plug it up right here. Okay. All right, Bishop, we're about to get you into right here.
Is it okay on speaker? Do I need to put on headphones?
No, oh no, speaker, you good. You're gonna be good. All right, Bishop, can you hear me though?
I can hear you loud and clear. You're coming through loud and clear.
Okay, well, good. I think you're coming through loud and clear as well. Hold on. Test one more time, Bishop.
Testing. Praise the Lord. Just Bishop Bernard Jordan.
Okay, we got you, and you're good. According to my end, you're coming in crystal clear.
Okay, I have it on speaker.
All right, great. We good. Okay, Bishop, you were just saying to us that we have to sit and wait for our it to show up, and then we manifest in the world the original that God has created us to be.
Exactly, because once we are in the process, it's almost like, being able to stand, as you heard me say before here, long enough as a false prophet until the season of time come that you are declared a true prophet. Mm-hmm. So everything goes through what is called or what could look like as a process.
Wow.
And so your ability to stand in that process until that experience is totally fulfilled is the key of wisdom. Mm-hmm. And so many people never get an opportunity to discover what I call, Larry, their unique voice, because they're so busy looking to become a copy that their uniqueness never gets experienced.
Would you say that people desire become the copy because they want to go with what is the norm or what is an accepted norm or what works well in the framework of all things?
Yep, they want to look to see what they blend into. See, the approval of men, the approval of our group, the approval of our culture, that takes a lot of who you are away from you. For instance, the price that people pay to get into a gang. Let's look at that for a moment. The price that people pay to belong to a group. As you know, when you look at the world of Maslow, hierarchy of needs, we begin to see that there's about 5 different levels that one would begin to start to look at. And that first level is the psychological need, which is food, water. Then the second level is the safety need. And that safety need is the thing that brings about the security or brings about your safety. But then that third level of need is a psychological need, which is the level of belongingness
or that love need. So there's a lot of people that will pay any price to get into that belonging space, or that space where they get intimate relationships or friends. So that is the place where you can start losing a sense of yourself, and you start becoming more like the group you're trying to get into. That's why if you look at, you can look at certain ministries and can tell who's mentored who, because they paid a price. If you look at some of if a person's been mentored, part of a certain group, all of a sudden, all of the hairstyles of the women in the church start looking like the hairstyle of the first lady. Right? If it's an alpha female and she's in ministry, then all of the other women start dressing like her. Right? If she's in pink, all of them just start wearing pink. Right? If she's in white, all of them start wearing white.
Right.
And so it starts looking like the alpha. And so what happens is that whole belonging need. And then many people don't even get to go to the fourth level, called the esteem need. And that's where you get your prestige and your feeling of accomplishment. Many people never get there because some people get stuck at just belonging. And that's why there's a lot of people that are rushing to get back into brick and mortar, because they didn't go to church for a word. They went to church for a sense of belonging.
Now, being that we're talking about the church and the pandemic, I'm talking to your most trusted name in prophecy, Bishop Bernard Jordan. Being that people have that desire and that need for community and that need to belong, one of the things that we could be suffering right now as a people is the loss of our routine.
Most definitely. When we start looking at it, well, first of all, let's look at a number of things. Let's unpack a number of things. Whenever God seeks to bring about a move of God or a visitation, he'll do several things. He'll disrupt where you're at. Let's look at the Tower of Babel for a moment. The people wanted to stay connected and build a tower that would reach into the heavens, right? But what did God do? He disrupted what was happening so that they can begin to spread out into all the earth. So when we begin to look at migration, oftentimes migration will come. Migration came in the South, where a lot of our ancestors went from the South to go up north to come and get better jobs and better things. And so when we start looking at what it looks like to begin to start seeing God in something, he commands a migration, which means that we're going into a better place because he makes where we are at uncomfortable. And so we are in a visitation of God, if I can say that even now, that he's made church as we have known it uncomfortable, because there's a pandemic that is going on, not just in America, not in a neighborhood near you, but around the world, because it's like the Spirit has hit the reset button on the universe.
Yeah, definitely. And that reset, if I can be 100% honest, that divine reset, that divine reorder of things, and in some cases redefinition and redefining of things, I cannot say that it is all. I don't know if a lot of it, not much of it don't feel good.
Well, does giving, you have to ask a woman, does giving birth to a baby feels good? And what is she going to tell you?
No. She may say hell no.
Exactly. That's the beauty of life. That's the beauty of transition. It does not feel good. It is not meant to feel good, because it's not about you feeling good. It's about you coming into the what's next of what is designed to come about in our lives.
So we should really be putting our focus on what is next. And so Bishop, that's something that you said the other day. We were on the phone. I'm sure that you've been saying this on your prayer line. And those of you that are watching me, Bishop Jordan is on his 24-hour prophetic prayer line every single morning from 9 to noon and every night from 9 p.m. to midnight. He'll be up there tonight. The number is 515-604-9266. Anytime during the day you can call in. You can hear teaching. You hear people sowing seeds. They're receiving prophecy and be in that prophetic revival, in that prophetic atmosphere at any time during the day. So I don't know if you shared it there, but when we were on the phone, you mentioned something that you were feeling, something that you were sensing as it relates to the next 12 months from October 8th, the number of new beginning, from October to October. Can you share with us concerning that?
Yes, I can, and I just want to say, Larry, that this is interesting because let's go back for a moment, and then we're going to go. Let's go back to the beginning of the pandemic, and then we're going to move forward into why this month of October is significant. And I want those of you that are listening right now at this moment, if you have a pastor or a leader, you call them now and tell them to tune in. It is critical because of what I'm about to share. If you are in leadership, it's time for you to stop whatever you're doing because it's critical what I'm about to share. If you are in business, it's going to be very critical about what I'm going to share. And when you're ready, whatever platform you're on for me to share, say, I want you just to type in, speak now the word of the Lord. And Larry, I believe when we have 120, there go your 12, 1, 2, and a 0 next to it. When we have 120 people saying, speak the word of the Lord, I believe that there is getting ready to be a sound that's getting ready to come from heaven like a mighty rushing wind. Because we have just come out of the Feast of Tabernacles, because God is getting ready to so speak to his people. And so I want the people right now to write, speak the word of the Lord, because I'm going to go back and remind you of something, and then we're going to go 12 months into the future, and I'm going to begin to tell them things that they have not heard and things that they have not known, and they're going to begin to take note of what is about to come forth so that they can be ready to be in position and a fit for this next visitation and this move of God in the move of the Spirit. So we need to get 120 people writing, speak now the word of the Lord. And Larry, I want to commend you before I start to speak this for creating a platform for your Patreon. And I think it's so coincidental that the price for a person to be a part is $144 for the year. Because when I began to think in the book of Revelation, there was 144,000. What I like about 144, it is 12 times 12. Or I can look at it as 12 to the second power. But when we begin to look at that 144, there will be things that you will speak in Patreon or guests that you will bring on that will begin to prepare people on how to transition during this particular next 12 months. Because what is going to happen, people are going to need more than just entertainment. They're going to need a word to know how to reposition themselves for the future that is now coming. So as people are writing, speak now the word of the Lord, I know one thing, I'm getting my $144 in on tonight, because what is about to take place is going to make some of our heads spin. Now, early in the pandemic, you brought me on, Larry, and we told you that the churches will be closed for months of Sunday. Is that correct?
That's true.
when they were saying that things would be opened up by Easter and Mother's Day, we also told the church that it was a false alarm.
True.
Do not listen to it. Is that correct?
True.
We told people that although there were prophets that were saying that they were going to be blowing it away, there were prophets that were prophesying that we'll be out of this by summer. There were prophets that prophesied that we would be out of this by the end of the year. This is just, a moment. We told the people to prepare yourself to be in this until 2022. And then we came back and told you, no, 2022, prepare to be in it, but it's going to be the peak of it. But we will not come out of this until the end of 2023, coming in towards 2024. That all sound familiar?
Yes.
We were saying this before it was even showing up in the news media.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah, before the scientists said it. That's true.
We were talking about this virus being airborne when they were trying to make like it was not airborne and that there was no need for a mask.
Yeah. Yeah.
We also told you that there was a window that you could begin to make movement in and travel in. But we told you in the month of October, there would be the next wave.
Yeah.
Am I correct, Larry?
That was in May. Yes.
That's in May. We were talking about next wave before the media could even, and the science could even begin to talk about the next wave. The Spirit of the Lord already begun speaking to us. I want everyone to type in, "Speak, Lord, my ears are open." Speak, Lord, my ears are open. We are now in the next wave, and the next wave has already begun. The next wave started when the president went into the hospital that weekend.
Okay.
On the day he came out, which I believe was the 4th, is at the moment is when that next wave started to open up of this particular pandemic. Now, the journey of this next wave, Larry, I've had a couple of dreams I have not been able to tell you about because I have been deeply troubled about. We're going to get ready to lose some of the greatest leaders of the church during this next wave. Between the months of November 15th to January 15th will be a season of great exits. Exits out of the planet, exits out of the earth realm. Some will go out as a result of the virus. Others will go out because they could not have a vision for what's next in the church. In this next wave that we are now in, we are going to begin to start to see these exits start to position itself. Mark these dates down. November 15th to January 15th. There will be denominations that was great for the 20th century, but will come to an end by the end of this pandemic, and their voice will slowly die out until they go into extinction. Speak, Lord, my ears are open. We are also going to be in the season where God is getting ready to cause many courses to change. And this is the reason I have been in much prayer, because I told you that we will begin to see this pandemic go until the end of 23 into 24. But I want everyone to write down this year, 2025, is when America will begin to see something in the area of a civil war. And the church is going to need to start praying now, because there are elements that are already starting to form.
Okay.
Now, when I saw the news on last week concerning the kidnapping plot, my mind went back to a prophecy in the written judgments.
Okay.
And in written judgments, volume number 3, Larry, and when you're purchasing this written judgment, you get 4 volumes in one. There was a prophecy on page 54. And this is what I'm alarmed about. Now, they were trying to kidnap who, Larry?
The governor of Detroit, I think it was, Michigan.
Yeah, the governor of Michigan, right?
Yeah, of Michigan.
So here in the written judgments in 1996, it says Detroit, Michigan, new political party. Now, I had to start thinking about this, Larry. Now, this is in people's book, written judgment, so you know this is not just written last week like some prophets do. They say, I knew that, and then it was written last night after the news came out that afternoon. It says, I looked up and saw the Motor City. I heard the word of the Lord declare, this will be the hour of many turnarounds and changes on every front. You will see strong political voices emerge out of Michigan. And the volume upon their voices shall frighten the masses. Now, this is where I began to start saying, oh my God, frighten the masses. This will be the hour that you will hear of a new political party that will emerge with great success at first. Now, I'm very careful about the interpretation and application of prophecy, because as prophets, we can write things or speak things, and our mind, we don't understand what we're writing and saying half the time. Yeah. But as it unfolds, it just gets a little clearer, and then we just have to shut up until the full thing comes to pass. But this is what it says. These voices will be received by grassroots people, and many shall attempt to follow these liberators, but they will not be the voices that possess the true power to bring deliverance. Now, the hour has come for the hourglass to be turned upside down, and you will behold my glory in ways like you have never seen. And the word of the Lord goes on. Larry, when I saw that and saw there was a group that was plotting this and creating a civil war, I got a sudden whiplash of the neck and had to turn around and turn my TV up, and say the prophetic word in written judgment, I believe we're getting ready to see another party emerge, and we may be coming into the end of a two-party system.
Wow. Wow.
Now, in written judgments, Larry, on page 44, if I may read this, in volume 3, it says freedom from the Constitution. Freedom from the Constitution. Listen to this. I was carried upon the wings of an eagle and looked down upon a map of the United States. My eyes beheld governments in turmoil, and the voice of the Lord began to say, this will be the day that you will see states forming ungodly alliances. States forming ungodly alliances. They shall begin to demand freedom from the boundaries of the constitutions. Many shall say, how can these things be? But it is the hour that the spirit of uprising and rebellion shall visit your land. Larry, we are stepping into these days, and they're not many months away. And when you and your partners hear this, they'll begin to refer back to this day and begin to see this.
Well, see, that's what we've been doing, Bishop. Part 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. In the Patreon, what we've been doing, and of course, you know, because Bishop comes over there in Patreon, and we're able to have even more candid, open sharing. We've been having to refer to the Written Judgments book. We've been having to refer back to the lives, and we are seeing these things happen and see these things come to pass. And more than ever, I think people should realize and know that God's favor and his hand is upon those of us that have relationship, you know, with this show, with this prophet, with this platform, this brand, and we've been in the know. And we have been able to position our whole families and our businesses to really experience the prosperity and the blessing of this time in the midst of 1,000 falling on your left and another, and this one falling over here. And many of us have been able to weather through certain things that some people are dying in. You have been a reference and you've been a guide for us. And thank you for praying for us and standing in that place and standing that space and being able to be that guiding light in a time like this, even from the time you wrote the book.
Yes. And you know, Larry, and I want to encourage those of you that are in Patreon to stay and continue and today get that into place, because what this pandemic is going to bring forth is going to bring forth the conversation of the Tuskegee experiment back to the light, and is going to also begin to reveal, and this is, and because there's a lot of things that will be said here, but it will not be able to be said here in the depth that it will be able to be said in your Patreon.
Yeah.
And this is what people have got to begin to understand, the importance of knowing how to be in spaces and places where information that is not general information given, but information that becomes a guiding light and a guidepost into the future that is at hand. So, the health situation of America is getting ready to show itself in a new light. And if I may say this, in the written judgments, right after this uprising from the Constitution, it says national travel permits. Then I began to travel the landscape and found myself detained at checkpoints. I was shocked when I was detained at the gate from one state to the next. I cried, Lord, how could this happen in a country that was known for its freedom? This is on page 45 in Written Judgments, Volume 3. How can these things happen in the land of the free and the home of the brave? And the Lord spoke quite soberly and said, this will be the hour that you will witness the institution of travel permits that will grant individuals license to travel from one state to the next. Many shall be perplexed, and yet this is a judgment that shall be rendered upon a nation built upon lies. Now, this was written in 1996. Much of what you will see will be masqueraded with the name of the church, but it will be a church that will not represent a spiritual kingdom, saith the Lord. These will be the days of many wars and great uprisings, and you will only begin to taste of this bitter root. Larry, the church, as we have known it, is going to be more now in the forefront than we have ever known. But it will not be a spiritual church that will be doing this. And that is going to be the unfortunate part of what is taking place. And so we're going to be in a season of great time of prosperity across the nation. I know this is going to be hard for some of you to take in. There's going to be keys in the street. I told you about the keys in the street.
Yeah, it's in the book.
It's in Written Judgments. The real estate is going to become wide open across America. But there's going to be great prosperity. And the way you're going to know there's going to be great prosperity, there is going to be massive layoffs across the country. The layoffs are going to be so great, it is going to be something that your mind will not be able to wrap its head around. I began to inquire of the Lord while I was in a time of prayer and fasting, and I couldn't shake it. And the Lord began speaking to me, and he says, begin to tell the people to get ready, because he said the earth, he didn't say America. He says the earth is about to enter into a new jubilee. I said, Jubilee. He said, Jubilee. And what I saw massive layoffs. I saw people couldn't go to work if they wanted to go to work. I couldn't make out all of what was going on, but they couldn't go to work. And when I asked the Lord, what is this? My hand to God, he said these words: I'm giving the whole earth a season of rest. 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 The sea life for the first time will say we have clean waters. It's going to rest. The birds will flap its wings in the air and says it's clean air. It's rest. people are going to be locked into certain vicinities because it's going to be a time of rest. And it's going to hit the reset button because a new age is about to begin over the next 5 years of time. And that is what we're getting ready to wrestle with.
Yeah. Those of you that are just tuning in, there are 2,892 of you here on YouTube, and there are 1.8 thousand of you watching us on Facebook. Take a moment, hit like and share. I am talking to, this is part 11. I'm talking to your most trusted name in prophecy. I call him America's Black Prophet of God, and he has been a guiding light through this season because God spoke to him many, many, many moons ago in a book, Written Judgments. He took him away and he began to write. It's on your screen right now. You need to get the book. I have the paperback because I'm a special partner and you're not. But you can become a special You can become one. But you can go right now and download digitally bishopjordan.com and get Written Judgments tonight. He's reading these passages out of this book, has not been tampered with. These books are filled with prophecy, and he's guiding us and giving the church directions concerning the pandemic. Bishop, as it relates to the church, what we got to do now, October to October, the next 12 months, you're saying is terribly significant. Over the next 12 months, you said to me on the phone that some people are going to be able to get hold of money and resources in a way that they haven't before, but they're supposed to conserve it and they're not supposed to eat it up. Talk to us about that.
So, in this season of this moment, by October of 2021, you need to be getting out of debt. Getting out of debt. Part of the reason that money is going to be coming to some of you is not for you to go out and buy the mink coat that you always wanted, or not to go out and get the Mercedes Benz that you must have. It is to clear up your debt.
Okay.
Because there's going to be two things that's going to happen. In 2022, the reset button will be hit, and only those that are prepared will be able to enter into the fullness of this next wave of glory, and it's going to be an economic revival. And many will miss the economic revival because they'll be like the 5 foolish virgins and don't have enough oil to sustain them for the next leg of the journey.
You know, Bishop, I'm reminded of when COVID hit, a lot of black churches, black people began to experience such an increase, and a lot of people ate that up, did not get out of debt, did not do what they need to do, were not wise. We're not in Patreon where we were given, I was given my financial wellness plan, and the partners begin to get on it. They weren't in there to get the stock tips. So some people had hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars they were able to grow because they was in Patreon getting the information. So this is coming again, another window of opportunities opening up. And this is why you need, I'm not telling you guys to leave your churches or whoever you may be fooling up with, but I can only vouch for what has receptacles and what has receipts. And Patreon has it. And for the next 12 months, from October to October, what Bishop is talking about right now, this is the 12th day, 12 to the second power. I like the way you said that, Bishop, is 144. And you need to go right now and get in, because after that, the price is going up. I'm trying to get everybody possible now, because after that, it's gonna be for those who are really in that space and financially able to come to really the value that is really at, but you can get in now, and this is a space of grace so that you can get in and lock into this now to get the directives you need for the next year of your life? Bishop.
The year, Larry, let me just say this. Sorry to cut you off. But the Patreon, that 144 investment, a person has got to ask, how much is their life worth? That's number one. Then they got to ask the question, how much does their future worth? And once you can be clear about how much your future is worth, then the 144 is I must do now. Why? Because I've got to get prepared for the future that is calling me. Listen to this. In Patreon, you forced something out of me where you had me to tell the people what God had revealed to me about these 4 letters that fell out of the sky.
Yeah.
When we gave you that, I think as of today, that stock grew by about over 300%.
Yeah.
My broker was on the phone with me today, and I asked him, I said, what are the chances of this? He says it's unheard of. And that's just the bottom line, Larry. That one tip made me totally debt free.
See?
I'm talking about totally debt free.
You weren't the only one, Bishop. I heard it from other patrons.
Oh, I got people that have called me and says, I'm indebted to you. I says, just give God praise for it. And they have gotten themselves totally not only debt free, but some of them have pivoted into the next area of business.
But see, all of that has been put in Patreon. I like what Octavia Clay said. She said, I'm counseling my birthday plans in order to get on board financially starting November. So it sounds like to me that she can sign up tonight. See, some of you guys, you may just need to go a couple of weeks and don't get your nails done. And then you'll be able to get your nails and hair done for you and your whole household anytime you want to. If you get in there and get with the prophet, it's a prophetic community. And you really need to be locked in. Did you just hear what Bishop said? That's not a lie. That happened. That happened right there. And that wasn't the only stop. There's a few dreams that I shared. And these people put their money in the right place, and they're seeing increase on the left and on the right.
Right. And this is not no susu. This is not a pyramid thing. I mean, all we did was give the word of the Lord. Like it was with Joseph. God, he had the dream. He knew how to move resources. And as a result of moving the resources, it put him at an advantage.
Yeah.
Remember, in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king.
Yeah. In the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. I like the word advantage. And that's what I feel like. This is why, and I know, and I accept Bishop's mentorship, everybody mentor my team. This is why I was so committed and keep doing this here, because I want you to get the advantage. That word just sums up what the next 12 months you can get in the information. This Thursday we have Dr. Jill that's going to be in there asking questions and answering, and people are asking questions. And I bring therapists in there so that for 12 months, what you would have to pay thousands upon thousands of dollars for, you can get the information and get the advantage. And some of these people, experts, can only share it in that safe place. They can't come out here and share it. But in the subscriber base, and we give bits out here, but in the subscriber base, they're able to be very open. We saw equipment last night we're not supposed to see, and all of that happened in Patreon. And you need to get in so you can have the advantage. I want everybody to type, I want the advantage. Damn, thing about time, the black advantage. That's what. All right, Bishop.
Yes. So in this next wave that is coming up, you're going to hear a lot about reparations. You're going to hear about monies that are going to be released. And then you're going to see America go into bankruptcy.
Whoa.
Now, this is going to be the thing that is going to hit, is that when that reset button hits, is going to be the new emerging of an economy and a new wealth that's going to be generated. Now, I wish I could articulate what I am seeing, but there is something that's going to happen with your cell phones that is going to be critical for your transport. It's going to be, your cell phone is going to be critical for your transport and critical for your passport. When y'all start to see signs of this coming into play, remember this day. The church that will be emerging in this hour is going to be a spiritual institution. But watch this. It will not be a church that is going to be gathering around the social aspect, but it's going to be the church that's going to be looking for a word, because the word is going to be the key to your exit.
It always has been.
And so you're going to see the unemployment of leaders that created theater in the pulpit. And you're going to see the emerging of pastors and prophets that have a word for the historical moment.
Yeah. I mean, Bishop, the reality is a lot of churches, and I'm not making it wrong, I'm not making it right, but I am going to lay it parallel with what we need right now. A lot of churches have been social clubs, and there is a social need, like in Maslow, that we just talked about earlier. But for what we need right now in this moment, we need critical, applicable, easy to understand, clear instructions on what to do. We don't need necessarily or primarily make me feel good when I come to the social club, make me feel good, trigger me with the organ, with the sound of the preacher. And I understand what that does psychologically and emotionally for us and the releases that happen. But we need something in our hand. We need instructions on what tool to access, how to use it in order to get the advantage to where we are not the ones that are suffering or at a loss and without eyes or blind in a time like this. And I'm afraid that the way that the church has been pre-pandemic is the way that many churches want to go back to. And right now, that order is out of order.
Yeah, that church don't even exist anymore. You see, the marketplace for the footprint is slowly closing. Now, if you look at what we will call the K cycle, if everybody you just write the letter K for a moment.
Okay.
There's a leg going down, and there is a leg going up.
Okay.
The leg that's going down, let's picture that as a staircase. The leg going up is an escalator.
Okay.
What is the difference? The leg that is going down are the industries that are on a decline, like hospitality, entertainment, travel, all of these industries that had to base their economy on footprints.
Yeah.
Look at the leg of the K going up, are going to be industries that will be innovators. And those are industries that will make their money off of fingerprints. You've got to ask yourself, is your money driven by footprints or by fingerprints? Now, I'm going to come into your Patreon and we'll unpack that.
Yes.
Because if people don't pivot in time, they'll stay on that lower leg and it's going to be buried because they will not have pivot, what I call the prophetic pivot, and gotten on the escalator going up and stayed on the staircase going down. And so the prophet comes to show up as a coach.
Yeah.
Let me say it again. The prophet shows up as a coach. A coach is just a mirror. Let's look at a mirror for a moment.
Okay.
And the prophet shows up as your coach to show you where your wealth is at. And your wealth lives, Larry, in your blind spot.
Yeah.
And the moment I can point to a blind spot and you discover it is the moment where your next treasure starts to emerge.
That's what you've done for me. That's what, as you've been my coach, my mentor, my spiritual father, and business coach. That's what you did for me. You just showed me where I was leaving money on the table. You showed me, and I think when people hear money and they think about money, they may think about personally what they want to do. But whenever I think money, I'm thinking about vision and what could or should or can be done, what that does for me. You're actually seeing a picture that is coming up that explains what Bishop was talking about. What Bishop did for me, he showed me how I was in a pattern, even been outside the box. It's on your screen now. And I was going in the direction that everybody else was going. And as a professional, but then Bishop began to coach me and something began to happen in my mind personally. And so it changed my professional direction. And that's why being in Patreon is important and having a coach, because you may not can afford a coach. Many of you want me to coach you. I know you want Bishop to coach you, but you can't afford it. And that's okay, because there's Patreon to help you along the way if you take the little things that are said and apply. So what began to happen, my professional mind began to upgrade. And there I began to go the other leg of this K, where the professionals, you see the professionals that are going up.
Yeah. In this pandemic, this is what, and thank for putting that K up there. In this pandemic, if you notice here in this K, and this is some Patreon stuff, but in this pandemic, you have the professionals on the leg going up, because it's going to be the hour of the experts will become the masters. Or if you're offended by the word masters, will become the leading executives of this hour. But the lower level of that K will be those that are the frauds, those that are the individuals that would not become the experts. And what happens that all the imposters, those that are not ontological or that embody the work that they claim they are going to be taken out. Because, see, there's going to be the field hands and the thinking minds.
Whoa, my God. And a lot of the field hands, 30% of the field hands, which is the bottom 30% of businesses, have been wiped out by prophetess coronavirus. And that word she done spoke through there, and it done messed around and then zapped up the bottom half and the field hands. And I really see there's a scripture to talk about now it is high time to wake up out of sleep. And I really think that people, as far as their business is concerned, that they are in their money are sort of like in a financial sleep, and they're not aware of what is to come and of the time and what we're shifting and what we're going into. And some of you probably have caught a revelation looking at that K, realizing that you are not stepping outside the box and that you are not listening to what prophetess coronavirus is saying and making a shift and a change in the way that you do business, and still sort of married or connected to the brick and mortar order of business as opposed to the fingerprint order of business. And I hope that you are hearing what this legitimate prophet is saying, and that you will begin to make that pivot and begin to walk into these next 12 months with a desire and with an expectation, to go through whatever training, alteration, and restructuring, that you can be in the right position for this prosperity that has been prophesied to come. Bishop,
yes.
Oh, somebody said my name begins with letter K. Oh, I see what you said. Somebody asked me this. They said, yeah, once you do the annual, you are locked in. Once a year, you'll see that charge once a year for the rest of your life. And you go with us into our new platform. So that goes with you forever. But I'm shutting it up in just a few days. It will be gone and done away with. And that's the reason why I'm pushing it, because I can't continue. We are expanding here with a second studio, more employees, and I cannot afford to keep it at this price. But my heart, I want everybody to be a part of it. And so a window of grace is open and you can jump in. Bishop, one of the things that I have seen you do skillfully is be able to show people how to go through hard places, even prior pandemic, because I got with you in 2018. I've watched you be able to give a word of direction here and there, peppered here and there, that if followed, I've also seen people not following them and end up in a bunch of foolishness, and you always have been able to guide people through. If there was one thing that you can tell the church and anybody listening as relates to this pandemic, if there was one thing, or maybe 2 or 3 sentences, what would you tell people right now is the most important piece of instruction right now, October the 12th, 2020? What would that be?
Get off of all processed food. Get off of processed food. When we spoke with y'all early in the year, we told you that about 70% of Americans will get this virus. Is that correct?
Yeah, that was early on. That was in March.
That was in March. We told you that, right? They are going to, they've already started, but they're going to now start revisiting the herd immunity. That now what is going to happen in America, a certain number of people will have to get the virus in order to bring it to a halt. When that happens, now I know it's happening with some of these other religious groups that are meeting, so I don't want to give any names.
I will.
Right.
Who are they? Text me.
Huh?
Oh, I can say it, Bishop. Jews.
No. Don't even go there. And the reason I want to say that is because there's going to be a different kind of climate that's going to emerge after the election, that certain names you're not going to be able to say. and I just need to say it like that.
Okay.
So, what is taking place? There's going to be this herd immunity. Now, some of you can't do what other groups do as a church. You can't say, well, because they're meeting, we can meet too. Yeah, but your diet is not the same as theirs.
I see.
And what is going to take many of the people out will be the processed food that they are eating, and that they're not eating food that is whole for their wellness. So with that being said, there's going to be a force where this disease is going to become very much widespread throughout the community, and they will start changing the cause of death. It won't be COVID, it will be something else. And they'll name a condition of the organ that it attacked or where it settled in. And watch this. Because you have gotten the antibodies, it does not mean you are safe. And I'm going to say, and I'm only saying this by this, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a scientist. All I do is speak what comes from the heart of God. But I just need to say this. You're going to see a sign of a major voice that's going to become reinfected again, and is going to cause great turmoil in the scientific community. And you will begin to see that in late 2020. Well, I'm going to just say this, in 2022. And so just prepare yourselves for that. After October of 2021, that is where the ultimate changes will take place. Now, I'm going to say this, if I can, Larry.
You can, Bishop. This is my show. You can do whatever you want to say.
From March until now, we've talked about the pandemic.
Yes.
People are looking at you now and saying, oh, it didn't look that bad. It might have made it a little bit more than what it is. It's just a little virus. It's like the flu. You know, most people are recovering from it, and all of that is true. What people don't realize, the full impact haven't hit yet. Yeah. That is like the baby teeth. Now, when you had your baby teeth come out of your mouth, did you go to the dentist and get Novocaine or anything?
I don't remember that.
Right, exactly. Because you just yanked the teeth out of the house and put it under your pillow for the tooth fairy, right?
Right.
But you can't do that with your permanent teeth. What's getting ready to happen is that we were now in this first wave, which is the baby stage. We were working with baby teeth. What this first wave was for is for you to adjust your practices so that you can get ready for the real pandemic that's coming. And I'm telling you, it's going to hit February of 2022. As bad as 2021 will be, it will be nothing like 2022. So that's the word of the Lord, and I'll speak with y'all many times up until that time. And Patreon will definitely get very ready for it. And I want tonight, everyone, I'm getting my 144 will be in. My wife's 144 will be in.
Yeah, because y'all on the $12 one. Y'all need to go in there and upgrade.
Don't get me to talk about that $12. But
it's going to be over the 31st, though, Bishop. That's it. See, let me tell you something, Bishop. I am a real spiritual son. I do my tithes, I do my offering, I send my teruma and extras. But I am also a rebel, just like you, And
that you are.
it take me a little while. I'm like, he ain't my daddy. What you talking about? I do what I want. This is mine. Then but I pay attention. I'm like, wait a minute now. He is right about this. And then I follow it through. So now at $12 is gonna be gone. October the 31st, gone. And then first of the year it goes up the November the 1st to $18. And then on the first of the year when we go into our platform, it's $28. Now it ought to be several hundred. I mean, because all these professionals and therapists and everything. It's like we done had 3 lives this week, and out here we ain't had but 2. Oh Lord have mercy. But anyway, so Bishop, I am following your prophetic directive.
Oh no, you listen, Larry. You're doing great, and congratulations on your new church.
You know what, Bishop? Now it's time to say goodbye.
As funny as that said, that is very now let's unpack what I just said in jesting, but in prophetic gesture.
Okay.
You said you would never pastor again.
Oh, here we go.
Right?
Here we go. Yes,
and
sir.
You were a bishop, right? You folded up all your bishop garments, right?
Yes, I sold them all.
Exactly. Watch this. Now watch this. And that's true. You'll never pastor again. That church which you pastored, that church that you pastored don't even exist anymore.
But that's what I said. Said.
But you are shepherding the flock.
Yeah.
You're sitting here tonight with a mega church.
Yeah.
But a mega church in a new format.
Yeah.
Right?
You're right.
And when the church of Acts started, they didn't know what it was going to look like when the Holy Ghost fell.
No, that's
they
true.
didn't know that they would stop speaking Greek and be speaking in unknown tongues and be going, undo my bow tie, he tied my bow tie, come tie my bow tie, you tie my bow tie, thus saith the Lord. They didn't know what that church would look like. That's the church that is emerging right now. Mm-hmm. Not the hymn, not the opening song, not the praise and worship group, all of that stuff that we've known as church. Now it's time for the offering. Now let's get ready for the preach word. Some of our congregation won't be a preach word. Some of our congregation is going to be the book of Leviticus, how you should eat this week.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Don't mix linen with wool. What fabrics to put on, right? Because what holiness really was how to behave separate from all the other nations that were around you so you can survive. Daniel was 10 times wiser because of what he ate. And many of us will only survive this when we stop eating the system's meat. Daniel had to stop eating the meat of the system in order to have an advantage of the system he was in.
And I want to say this, since Bishop said this, and a lot of people did not know this, but patrons knew. I started doing a Sunday prayer because y'all asked me out here. Because many of you remember, like 18 of those 20 years of pastoring, I would do prayer revivals. And I said, well, I still have the same prayer practices, but I pray for me and my children and whatever. And then those I coach and prophesy to, that's all it was. So I started doing the prayer thing. And it was the prayer call that threw me back into the way that I was pastoring the last 2 years of those 20 years, which was online. It was a different form, an entirely different way. And it was not my plan to even go back to that. But I would always say, I'm not going back to pastoring. Well, at least, then I said, well, at least not the way that I was. And it's almost like, there was something you said one time, Bishop, maybe you can remember how you said it. You said, if that's meant for you, the people will call you into it. And that's what happened. It's like I slipped into it. I said, wait a minute. I'm doing the same thing I was doing before. So then I had to start accepting members, and they want to give tithe, and then I got to do prophetic training. So all that's happening, and it all was birthed out of the Patreon community. So yeah, That's what I'm your secular man of God, and we we are doing what we're doing over there, and people's lives are really being changed, Bishop. And it's so funny because me and you, before we do these shows, I try not to talk to you. It's like if I pop over to your show and to your lives, and I be doing what I'm doing on Sunday, it's like we running parallel. Like you think that when we're talking on the phone, we're swapping notes, and that ain't really what be happening. It's just that I think the prophets are in step with God, and people are catching up, especially if they happen to be in an environment of prophets. You know, they're finding their step and getting on their path. And I do want to tell you in front of everybody once again, thank you a whole leap, because you could have said, Larry, go back to pastoring digitally like you were doing the last 2 years, you know, and leave LarryReidLive alone. You know, if you were that type of dude, I mean, because you wouldn't be able to pay your bills, Larry. That listen, when I tell you, listen, that's that K leg. Put that diagram back up. Okay, it's up.
Put that. The diagram. See, when you see that diagram, that leg that's going down,
mm-hmm.
right? That's that brick and mortar leader. That's not working. That leg going up, Larry, is the one that's going to be the pastor of the future. Not the future, forget the future, the now. The one that is beginning to realize in this historical moment, I cannot do theater. Let me pack the podium away. I can't do theater. The theaters are closed on Broadway. That should give you a word right there.
Yeah.
The movie theaters are going out of business. That should give you a word right there. Why are they going out of business? Because God is saying the hour of the theatrical preacher is over. Your members are not going to come because they were only there for theater. But where your members are going to go is to leaders that have a historical word for a historical moment. Yeah. Many people don't even know they're in a historical moment. So what the prophets need to be doing in this hour is telling the church stuff before Fauci tells the church stuff. And so Fauci is confirming the prophets and not the prophets prophesying behind Dr. Fauci.
Come on now.
See, this is the church that when people start looking, they begin to know, oh, our man of God is not leading us into a pandemic because they got to keep their lights on. Our man of God has begun to show us, like Jesus did. Didn't Jesus' disciples need them to...
His battery probably went out, because that happened on a regular phone call. His battery went right on out. That happens all the time. Okay, I see what... Okay, somebody want to explain how to get on Patreon. Go to LarryReidLive.com and click Patreon. Bishop's going to be calling us back to close us out. Click Patreon. When you do there, sign up. Make sure you download the app, turn your notifications on so you don't miss when we're live over there. Somebody said, Alicia said, I'm not trying to be funny, but define secular. I didn't think you can be secular and a man or woman of God. Well, if you look up the word, it literally means not bound by religious rule, not belonging or living in a monastic or other order. Now, in the Catholic world, it's a real term, secular priest. It means that you don't really follow the normal pattern of things. And it actually was a YouTuber, Conscious TV, that dubbed me the secular man of God. So I sort of been using it and talking about, because that's the reality. I went into the marketplace and as a minister into music and also acting and producing and some other things. Of course, my books were already there, so my music was already there. But I know that's my space and that's my place. I was committed and submitted as relates to working in the brick and mortar for all of those years, 20 of those years pastoring, but the rest of those years as an organist, a drummer, a choir director, and this, that, and the other. So, and now I am here by the grace of God. And I want to let you guys know that, so you can be very clear, because you're asking a whole lot of questions. Right now it's $12 a month. And remember that Bishop don't like that price. And so when you lock in for the next 12 months on $144, you basically get to pay $12 a month for the rest of your life. Once a year, you'll be billed the $144 donation. And in doing that, that's Bishop.
Yeah.
Okay. What happened? Say it again now.
He must have called right back.
Okay, all right. He's gonna call on the other line. All right, so I'm looking at it now so he can finish this. This has been some night, this Wirecast, because it's not even picking up the signal for him to pick it up. So that's.
People also want to know, can they call in and ask questions?
Okay, say it again.
People also want to know, can they call in and ask questions?
No, that's Patreon function. When it comes to asking questions to any of our guests, that's what happens in Patreon now. I don't know if you guys remember, have noticed that they're not able to ask any questions anymore in on the live with our guests. We just interviewed the woman that done that rant. We do that over there, all in Patreon. Okay, Bishop, you can pick up right where you are. I was letting them know how to get with us for the next 12 months.
Okay. What was the last point y'all heard me say?
I started talking about something else. I can't remember.
You can't remember? Okay. So, all I want to say is that the church that was about the theaters has closed, right?
Okay, yeah, that's the last thing we heard, I think.
And so the theaters have shut down.
In fact, I think, is it Regal? I think Regal shut down like 600.
Yeah, Regal shut down about 600 theaters. That's gone. What is happening? People are leaving the places that has the maid on the stage.
Okay,
Write
explain.
this down. Leave the maid on the stage. What is happening, the maid on the stage, MAID, is not working because people are looking for the guide on the side. The GUIDE. And if you don't have a person that can speak to the historical moment and become the guide on the side, then you are in trouble because you're like a person in the dark without a flashlight.
Oh my God.
So what the prophetic word is in this hour, let a man examine himself. I think as Socrates says, man, know thyself, right? If you begin to examine yourself, you got to look to see, am I the maid on the stage or am I the guide on the side? And if you are the maid on the stage, then you got to keep your brick and mortar open.
Oh my God.
But if you are the guide on the side, you're going to need the master technology and sit down and teach your disciples. Jesus, when the disciples needed money to pay their taxes, didn't Jesus know where to go to tell them to go to get the money?
Yeah.
He says, the first fish you catch, he sent them into the marketplace to go and get the money. And I believe what God is going to do in this hour, well, not believe, I know what he's doing in this hour. He is sending us into the marketplace and showing us where to get the money.
Yeah. Absolutely. And this is so clear and it's crystal clear, but the maids on the stage are doing something very wicked, and they are making people feel as though that they must come to the show. They must come to the show. And I'm gonna say this: Bishop went there, so I love going there, but he just went. I don't know if he noticed that switch. Y'all think I'm tough. Bishop really straight, but he just since he's been straight with it, I'm gonna be real straight with it. The reason why they're telling you to come to church because they don't know how to do nothing else, and they are not skilled and educated and informed enough to sit in front of a camera and talk to you and keep your attention and empower and educate you. They do not have the knowledge or the access to the equipment. They were in the Stone Ages before Korah hit, and they didn't even know how to use their cell phone to talk to everybody. And
well, put that K down. Put that K diagram back up there again. All right. You just revealed it. They're not professionals. A professional. See, on the farm, you have the shepherd and you have the rancher. The shepherd only knows how to keep sheep, but the rancher knows how to run the entire farm.
yeah.
And what has happened is we've had people that had myopic vision. They only knew how to handle a handful of sheep, and that's all they know to do. And what they're getting ready to lead them into, they're going to end up with lamb chops at the end of the night, but because they're going to put them in the fire. But if they begin to operate by becoming a professional, what does a professional do? You go hire you a coach. And why do you hire you a coach? So that you can pivot and begin to find your next normal.
Yeah. And I want to say this. I do want to say this too. And I don't know, Bishop. I want you to jump in here in whatever way you want to. I want to say to those of you that have been maids on the stage, and that's all that you know how to do, and to do what I did. When God spoke to me and told me to jump out here in the cyberspace and to really begin to be the spiritual nexus online and on demand. That's in that blog. You got to go Google it. Cyber Churches, Larry D. Reid, WordPress. And I want to say to you, this is the time set for you to acquiesce. And I hate to feel like you might have done missed it. But you should have been doing that when prophetess coronavirus came with that word of the Lord and had everybody shut up in the house and get with God. On your altar, you should have heard a word from the Lord that said, okay, it's time to pivot. But since you didn't, maybe I am the grace of God right now, since I did pivot and I took the leap and I lost everything, everyone filed bankruptcy. But let me tell you this, that was for an appointed time. It was for a learning, because I had to rebuild and rebrand everything that I did. And you can do it. And so I want to encourage you to do that and be humble enough to ask somebody to show your hand how to do it. So you ain't getting out here online looking all kind of weird and crazy and the camera's looking up your nose while you trying to give us a word from the Lord. We see your boogers and we're not interested in nothing that you're saying. So I want to encourage you to be the professional. Put that K up. I want to encourage you to be the professional prophet, preacher, orator, evangelist, and whatever the Lord done put up on your life, and package that thing and help your community become entrepreneurial thinkers and begin to come into the next percentile, to get out of that bottom 90% and start getting into the top 20, 10, 5, 1.1%. You have it in you because the wisdom of God is in you, but you just got to break your habit of being the maid on the darn stage, asking for folk come to watch you perform at your show. All right, Bishop.
Yeah, and you're going to find that leg going down is full of the hospitality industry, restaurants. Now you saying that a restaurant can't make it? If it is a professional one, right, that knew how to pivot and become creative. And so what you begin to find is that what can you do that is creative, that becomes the new norm, that thing between next and new. Because see, once you go to next, are you ready to move into new? Because some of us start at next and stop. But you got to go from next into new. And that becomes your new way of being. And some of you will never preach another word again. You'll begin to sit down like Jesus did with the Beatitudes, and you'll begin to sit down and teach. And we have made preaching the model, and I'm not taking away from the preaching moment. I love preaching. I think the preaching moment is important. But could it be a time that God is calling us into the teaching moment? See, we may be in a historical moment that God is saying, now stop giving the people, like you go to Starbucks, stop giving them all the froths on the top of the drink. You ever have that drink, you for a while you get all white on the top of your lip, all that froth. We've gone to church and got a cup full of frost. No, what is happening, the frost is being removed, and we're getting straight to the drink. And so therefore, who has a word for this historical moment? Not tap your neighbor and say, we'll be out of this in 3 days, and turn around.
Oh, Bishop, there's a prophet that we both know. I'm not going to call their name, but I may feel like texting them, telling them
I don't know what you're talking about, Larry. I don't know.
Well, you're going to know after I finish. That's publicly said, because I seen the video, that the pandemic is over. We're just dealing with the reverb or the echo of it, that God said it was going to last 3 months, is only lasted 3 months. And I can't believe that they said that. I said, this is stupid.
Again, Larry, listen. The historical moment. Now remember, when the prophet Elijah was emerging, Jezebel had prophets. You know, Jezebel had her own school of prophets.
She did.
She had 450 prophets sitting at her table.
Yeah.
So, will there be a church of Jezebels? And Jezebel is not a woman, so don't any of you women get upset with what I'm about to say. Jezebel is not a woman. Jezebel is a spirit.
Okay.
Jezebel is simply an institution that develops its own prophets that look similar to the prophets of God, but they're prophesying without the word of the Lord from a true deity, which means they have no word for the historical moment.
Oh, well, this is interesting. The Jezebel Network and the Ahab Network do have their own prophets.
What'd you say?
I was saying the Ahab Network and the Jezebel Network, those two strongholds, they do have their own prophets.
Yeah, and they have their own prophets today. What do their own prophets look like? People that try to shut down your institution and my institution.
Oh, my God. So announcement time. Announcement. Every pastor that ever tried to shut LarryReidLive down, you have identified yourself. Let me do this. Anybody that ever talked about Zoe talking about they selling prophecies, Bishop Jordan, every last one of y'all identified yourself as the prophets of the Jezebel and the Ahab Network. Did you hear what I say? Did you hear me? All right. I got that out.
Yeah, and so when you begin to look at this, this is what is happening. Now, with all of the things that are taking place in our nation, our people need a word. We need a word on health care. We need a word on education right now, right? Because there are schools that are going to be going through some dire changes before the end of this month, by November, the second week of November, things should get very interesting across the nation. So we're getting ready to see some changes that many of our people are not prepared for, because we were not prepared mentally, some of us, to live in 2-bedroom houses with everybody trying to survive around one bathroom. And that's going to take something. I need a preacher with a now word for this historical moment as to how do I maintain my sanity and manage my anxiety in the midst of this frustration. And a shout is not going to do it.
What is very interesting to me is when prophets do like this. I love when prophets do that because what you're saying, I know you probably didn't have time to watch TV today, but as of today, they're saying that the possibility that the COVID-19 breakouts are not happening in schools the way that they thought it was. And now you say that devil is a lie. When November comes, we're going to see X, Y, Z. I love when this happens because it brings so much glory to God. When the prophets of God speak the mind of God and God upholds that word, and then we glorify and magnify that God knows all things and not men. Bishop.
Yeah, and that's very good, Larry, because we told you in March, April, the church would be closed for a month of Sundays. They told you it would be opened up by Memorial Day. They told you that the heat would come and the summer will come, and this thing going to all go away. It's going to all go away. It's going to all go away. We heard all of that. We prophesied yet the word of the Lord in the midst of that. We're used to controversy, and we're used to looking like a false prophet until God vindicates us as that which we speak is the word of the Lord.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that comes with our gift, and it comes with my mantle. And as I tried to do away with it, I tried to be, accepted in the group. Some people have asked me, what do you want to say about what's happening? I says, there's some things I can't even utter right now. And I said, why? I says, because your ears cannot bear it. What do you mean? Because until your ears are ready to hear, your mind is not ready to hear certain things.
True.
And so it's best to leave it unuttered until your mind is ready to begin to be prepared to hear what thus saith the Lord on that matter. And so in about next month this time, Larry, we'll be in a different conversation. Different laws will start to be passed. Freedoms will be taken away by next month this time. And then all of a sudden there'll be a wave of prosperity that is going to come, that is not for you to get those pair of shoes that you always wanted that cost you $500. It's going to be a real season to begin to clean up a lot of your debt to get yourself in preparation for 2022. And then many of y'all are going to be moving. I'll tell you about windows to move in. I'll tell you in the new year to come, not only windows to move in, I'll tell you what months will be safe and what months will be unsafe, and in what months you'll have grace to do things that other people don't have grace to do it in. And I'm telling you, your movement at this time, you're not going to get it from a maid on the stage. You're going to need a guide from the side.
And so is the word of the Lord on tonight. Bishop, this was a big one. It's this number 11, but it's always loaded. Thank you so much for coming on. And Bishop is about to be on his prophetic revival line. You do not want to miss it. I go in and out all the time with different phone numbers, so Bishop don't know I'm up there and ask me to say something. 515 604-9266. That's 515-604-9266. And I want to remind each and every one of you to make sure you get this book. Just thumb this. There's something on that book. They sent me the paperback, and I just sit it beside me. Sometimes I just hold it like it's my biblications. That book is powerful. Download Written Judgments right now to your device that you're watching the show on, bishopjordan.com, Written Judgments. There have been between about 5,000 of you, now we're around 4,000 of you that are watching us tonight. Everybody go download it. You need it in your house. Even if you ain't going to read it right now, go ahead, get it on your device and download it so you have it in your possession. And just have it on your device. And make sure you get that. And if you're watching me, you never knew what my Patreon was about. They lied to you and you thought it was one thing and found out tonight was something else. You need to go over there and sign up tonight and make sure you lock in at the $12 on this 12th day of October. Lock in. Go to LarryReidLive.com and click Patreon and click it right now. And I want you to follow Bishop over there on his line. And this is, I want everybody to do me a favor, all almost 5,000 of you that are watching here. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to use your platform and use your voice to tell everybody what you have experienced concerning Bishop Bernard Jordan and his ministry. What you have heard and seen with your own ears, not what somebody told you. And I want you to be a brand advocate for Bishop Bernard Jordan and Zoe Ministries. Y'all know me. I have been around these people since 2018. This is the real deal. This ain't fake. It's not phony. It's real. It's absolutely real. So I want you guys to be a brand advocate, and I want you to tell everybody what you have experienced. And long as Bishop is my mentor, he can be on and off of this platform. And I intend that to be till he died. Notice I say him because I'm not dying. I'm going to be here always. I'm be one of them that's going to be called up to meet him, called up to meet him. Joy and happiness will be mine. I know y'all know that song, but see, that's why y'all got to stay around here, because see, this is a secular church. Now, if you ain't gonna get some of the jokes, if you don't know, got some history. So you come over here and learn your hymns, get hymn to holy, get your paper Bible, get paper Bible saved, so that you can be a proper member in this secular church. Get your paper Bible. So I want you to tell everybody about Bishop Bernard Jordan, and I want you to go on their line. You can give them $1, they're going to call you prophesy. That's what they do. They hundreds of prophets that he have trained. And once you plant a seed, they speak over that word. They water that seed, and you see it manifest in your life. And I want to thank you for watching. And I want to say thank you, Bishop, for coming over here whenever I ask.
Thank you. And listen, when am I coming to Patreon? Because I cannot wait to talk about that K.
Okay, now, Bishop, we're going to book this appointment right here in front of everybody right now. Now, on the 15th, this Thursday, Dr. Jill. Bishop, I hope you're able to come over there so you can meet her. I want you to meet her. She's so good. Dr.
Jill, that's the one I was looking at the video when she was on with you,
right,
talking about health. And can I just say something about that?
Yeah.
That is so critical. I would almost want to say, and I don't want to go there like that, about this depopulation. But if we do not really begin to add holiness with our food to get the wholeness, I mean, you know, I sent you, Larry, a fresh box of vegetables.
Yeah.
Am I right?
That's right. I'm
and
a partner.
We do this with many of our partners.
I'm a special kind of partner. Y'all are not, but you can be. But go ahead, Bishop.
So watch this. What she is sharing in terms of health and wellness, it's a start. But that's a conversation that's got to keep going on. Do you not know that 70% of Americans are overweight, and they're calling obesity a disease?
Yeah.
So if we don't seriously start having this conversation, and thank God you have brought it to your platform because you're concerned about the wellness of your Patreon.
Yeah.
You want to bring people through this pandemic, and then if they got to go through it, there's a way they can go through it in safety, knowing that there's a community that is supporting them with wisdom and with knowledge. So that's going to be this Thursday at what time?
At 7 p.m. Then Bishop's going to be in Patreon with us talking about the K. That is on October the 22nd at 7 p.m. He will be there. So this Thursday, Dr. Jill. Next Thursday is going to be Bishop Jordan. And so we've done that. So that's going to push our therapy session probably into November. But it won't make no difference to you on what November's price is, because tonight you are you're going from on the 12th for 12 months. You're going to stick with me, and you're going to see your life advance, and I'm preaching now when I say that, and grow. All right. Bishop, any last words you want to say?
No, Larry, thank you. I'm going to get ready to go over to our prayer line, and we're going to be teaching tonight. Starting this Friday starts our fast. It's the new moon this Friday. And the new moon on the 16th is the harvest moon. So it's interesting that you're making a call during this time of the month for people to join the Patreon at 144. And what I love about that 12 times 12, or 12 to the second power, it gives people an opportunity to empower themselves. So I'll be looking for all of you to be with Larry in the Patreon, because that is where information will be dissected, communicated, and then there'll be a wellness plan given to you so that you can establish your wealth and health model.
Yeah, and
God bless you.
Yeah, that's been really big over there. We're doing the Build Your Immune System Health Challenge. And to hear some of what the doctors are saying now concerning COVID-19, I'm like, wow, we've been in that right gear for a long time. And we found out in the live, Bishop, yesterday that we had some that are battling COVID-19, even some of the workers who are on the front line, but they're in Patreon, and they spoke last night and told us so many different things. You know, there's so many knowledgeable and people that are in that community, and we share openly. It's really a safe place to where you can have any kind of conversation that you want to have and get the information that you're missing. So Bishop, thank you for being on tonight. Thank you for being a patron. And thank you for upgrading tonight, you and First Lady, becoming annual before I have to go up on your prices. So all right, Bishop, you know, last time you came on, I sent you an offer. I'm going to send you one tonight before my pillow. Do I need to do, last time I done a Zoe. Because they've been calling me to death. I said, wonder where they call me. I said, you know what? I sold it to the wrong place. I meant to send that to Bishop. So where you want me to send the Bishop, to Zoe, or you want me to send it to straight to you?
No, send it to Zoe. I love when you send to the Zoe, because I love when the prophets get in your ear.
I'm gonna send it to you. You tell me what I want to send. I want what's on you.
Okay. If you want to send it to me, Larry, you know how to send it to the Zelle.
What your Zelle email? The email address is attached to your Zelle is the Zoe Ministries one.
Right, Bishop Jordan at ZoeMinistries.com. Correct.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna send that. That'll be between me and you. No, If I'm gonna do over 1,000, I'll send it to Zoe, so you have to call me.
And you do it, and guess what? And I take it and I invest it, because God gives you money for the purpose of multiplying it.
Oh yeah. I just thinking I might send it to Zoe, because I like when you call me and prophesy to me. You owe me one too.
I know. I'll be making calls tonight, Pastor. I'll be calling people until 1, sometime 3 o'clock in the morning, prophesying the word of the Lord to them.
Okay.
Because see, I'm in my fasting hour. Like right now, I did my fast. I started my fast early today, so I'm in my fasting hour season. So I'll be going for 20 hours of fasting. So I'm doing 20 hours of fasting and only eating in a 4-hour window.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, what's that app you said is going to tell me how much I need to do my intermittent fasting? Fastic, Fastic.
Correct. And come and join and become a buddy. I'll send you a link so that you can become a buddy. And we're developing a community of people that will be fasting and fasting for health, wellness, but also for spirituality and looking to evolve into a zone where we want to hear the voice of God with clarity like we've never heard before. I need a historical word for a historical moment and not a theatrical expression.
Okay. I know that's right. Somebody just said, Reid, why you ask him and then you say you're going to do what you want to do? See, I told y'all how I am. I'm going to go straight to my app and I'm going to do what he said do. It's just the initial. You know what it is? I think in the church, most of the men in there is straight backs, junior peppermints,
Listen,
double dippers.
Larry, a true
Y'all-
alpha,
Huh?
a true alpha male don't try to take another alpha and make him beta. See, I'm not looking to turn people into bottoms. Very important.
Damn my bishop! Damn my
Jesus says these words. These works you shall do, and greater works than these. So an alpha will empower another alpha. Sometimes I get with some of my people just to debate with them to make sure they remain an alpha.
I love it. Oh, see, can't nobody else be my mentor but this one here. Oh, he's such a great balance. I'm so glad it came out on the show. Okay, so I am going to. I fought a little bit, but I'm going to sit on my app. I'm going to text. All right, I got the number saved in here. I'm gonna tell it out loud because some of you may want to text. Somebody said, Larry, they want the line number to call in to Bishop Hotline. I done put that up about 4 or 5 times. How y'all missed that? Marco, you missed that. Everybody else synced it. Let me see if I can. I'm gonna tell y'all how to give to Zoe. And
Okay,
then
if they want to give this Zoe, they just text the word. Text to the number 646
762 0433
and text the word "my worship" with no space.
What's that? Okay, that's something new. You
My
made that?
worship. Yeah, because you know what? When you give, that's worship.
Yeah, I know, but that ain't what I do. So I didn't start saying my worship.
Or you can do my word. I like doing my worship with no space, but you
Okay.
can do the word donate. Donate works as well.
I like that, my worship. Because worship is giving. I'm going to try it right now. Okay.
My worship with no space.
Oh, that word. How much would you like to give to my worship? Ah, Lord, that's so nice. That puts it in perspective. Bishop, when y'all do that, y'all upgrading everything right there. Y'all on next level. You're in the future. How much do I want to get? I want Bishop to call me, so let me do this. Bishop, you gotta call me 2 times, back to back.
646-762-0433 and put my worship together. And when you do that, when you do that, prepare to get a phone call. There'll be a prophet on the other line, and the prophets will be prophesying tonight up until 12 midnight. And I'm telling you, these seers see. Now, they're going to tell you something. It may not make sense. And then they'll turn around and send you the recording. So make sure you have your email address and download the app.
My Prophecy Now. Ain't it?
Prophecy Now app.
Yeah,
Prophecy
Prophecy
Now app. Download it on your phone, and all the prophecies that are ever spoken to you through Zoe Ministries on phone will end up on your app.
Yeah. Yeah, that has been a blessing for me. And that is true. And God, I talked about this on Patreon, but I can't do it up here. but I lightly mentioned, I said, when a prophet or prophetic call you and say something as simple as, the door is going to open an opportunity for you, and it's going to happen in this next season. Get ready to be shocked. That may sound simple. But when a prophet, one of the main differences between a prophet and a psychic is that, and I mentioned this to Vincent the other day, I said a prophet creates it. And when they speak it, it goes into your future and it begins to take form. They literally are in the world of taking spirit and making it into matter. And that is spectacular. And it's only upon the prophets and the prophetics. So that is a powerful thing. When you're in that moment, when they're called, I make sure I have a moment, to hear. And I listen and I absorb it. A lot of times I type mine down and I listen to it. And let me tell you this here. There was a property that had the setup for me to do what I want to do for the live show for Larry Live. This set is going to be for the members and teaching, and Pastor Shamako Bryant and Joshua are going to be handling that. And I don't know if I've ever had that type of warfare concerning a property. And I woke up on a Wednesday morning after applying, and it was last Wednesday. It was the 8th, October 8th, was double 8. And I told everybody, I done my personal devotion in the morning. I did it on Zoom with the Patreons, and I prayed. And I told them I was about to sow $88 seed to Zoe. Now, they didn't know, but it was about that property because I hadn't heard from them. And I said, this is strange. And I felt something on the line, but I know the power of a seed.
You told him?
Yeah.
You told him on the Zoom. You told him.
Oh, I did tell it? Okay, I didn't know I told it. So my mouth ran and I told that. So I sold it. I ain't told him this. So listen up, patrons. And Bishop, I don't know if I told you this. Maybe I did. I sold the 88 seed. And I said, this property got to open up. Because I already had in my head what I want to do. By this time, I'm locked in. I said, this is it. They called me that day and said I was denied. That same day. Now, I didn't even go through no changes. I was like, I know what I heard, because Bishop had prophesied to me and told me. I was going to look at all the different places where I can build in the basement. And Bishop said, and I mentioned this particular home, and Bishop said, God going to talk to you when you walk through the living room, but the second time. So I kept asking him, what he going to say? He said, Bishop, I don't know. I just know what God says. I'm like, for real? So you just going to pour it out like that, and ain't nothing left in the picture you can discern. And so when I did, we about to leave. I said, I got to walk through the second time. No, my hand to the Lord now. When I walked in that living room the second time, it was like I had been in intercession for hours. In an instant, I felt, the presence of God was on me so strong. I was still, I had my black t-shirt, I had my other chain with this chain, my Cuban with got the stuff, the diamonds on. I was looking real thug. And the lady Victoria, she walked in, I to the window, my eyes got full of water. And I said, look, I'm not an emotional dude, but when it comes to presence, I am. And my eyes got full of water. I'm swallowing. I said, Lord, I feel like hollering. And she walked behind me. And just what the Spirit said. The Spirit said, this is my gift to you. Because see, what I wanted to do, I didn't want to buy, because I own properties. I wanted to live and lease and really get into a place, but I want to lease a place that I would like to buy. And this place I do. And he said, this is my gift. And the owner said they won't sell too. Yeah, that's what they said. It said, this is my gift to you. And that thing tore me up so bad. And then the Victoria walked behind me and she said, she was whispering, she said, Mr. Reid. It's like she knew the presence of God with it. She said, I like this for you. I said, yeah. I said, he do too. So That was before I sold the seed. All of that happened, and there was interference. And so I sold the seed, and they called me that day instead of denied. They said on your credit is 3 or 4 bankruptcies. I said, I ain't never found. I said, what? I told you I got 1 bankruptcy that happened after I stopped passing them 20 years in 2017. I don't know what y'all done seen. And she said, that's what I told him, that you're an honest man. It's not true. Well, I'll tell you this. Cardi B was in the house before me.
Oh, Jesus.
And done about $60,000 worth of damage with her pit bulls. So now these white folk don't want to fool up with no black folk. So when they told me that, I went to myfico.com, which I suggest everybody to have that so you know what's going on with your mess. And I downloaded from all 3 credit bureaus my profile and sent it to them. I said, that's not true. They came back and they told me that I needed to give them $160,000 cash to pay ahead in order to. I'm like, what? So y'all is out your whole mind. Hell no, that's not about to happen. So you got in your mind, I got to run a whole business employees. What? And so what ended up happening was I just released it. I just believed and let it go. So much so, I started looking at other houses. I said, I'm going to go find me another house. I don't know if I told you all this, Bishop. So go find me another house. They called me back yesterday and said, okay, the mistake was found. What do you want to do? I said, well, I want to get the house. I said, the basement is perfect. I'm going to build me a studio like the live show I had here in Atlanta. But I'll be able to bring 15, 20 people. I can do it at my basement. You go straight there. And she said, okay, let me get with the owners, da-da-da. Long story short, right before I got on live tonight on the 12th, everything is signed and it's a done deal. So I know the power of a seed. It won't be $88. Bishop, what did you say to them? Say it won't be $88. It's not about that, is it?
You got to ask, how much is your life worth and how much is your future worth? You know, it's amazing how a person, a new phone will come out and it would be over $1,000 and nobody would complain about having to sow $1,000 seed, right? But yet you're giving a life-giving word, and then people have a lot to say about it. You go to a university, and it will cost you $30,000 to $40,000 if it's a decent university for, one semester, or a year can easily run you into $50,000 plus. Nobody calls them a crook. Nobody said whether they're saved or not. But let the preacher ask for $500. They say it's too much money, it's too high. Or you ask for $144 just one time. That's the price of a textbook in most universities. And it's amazing how they'll minimize money when it comes down to us, when we ask. But when other ethnic groups ask, it's not a question. They'll mortgage their house to give it to them. And that's got to shift in our community and thinking if we're going to ever go somewhere. And this is where we've got to move from that sense of belonging to, in Maslow's hierarchy of need, into self-esteem. When you have self-esteem, you don't have no problem giving. Giving is the proof that you've conquered greed. So you cannot be a giver and greedy.
Listen, it's the truth. It's the truth. It's the truth.
Yeah.
It's
So I love it. A person, watch it. A person gives $100 or $50, let's say $50, and they didn't get the kind of word. I had a person. We gave him a word, and I'll tell you who it was in a minute. A person called me from prison. They hooked his phone line up, called me from prison, and I said to him, in 29 days, the Lord says situation is going to bring you a release. So the person called the people back, and the people's upset and said, the prophet just told me that on the 29th, whatever, on 29 days from the date or whatever, that is going to be, something's going to be released, and that was it. And they said, well, I thought it would be more than that. What's going to be released in 29 days? Why wasn't more said? Why, went through all of that. Almost like it was with the prophet telling Naaman, go jump in the lake.
Oh, yeah.
And on that day, a situation happened, and Meek Mills was released out of prison. Because he was the one that called me.
Exactly. I'm surprised you even shared that. I mean, 'cause a lot of people don't know, and I say this to protect my bishop, is there so many celebrities, actors, who Bishop is their personal prophet. So you can keep your little $1,000 seed if you don't want to do it in order to to get him on the phone, because it's nothing for somebody to pick up the phone and so hundreds of thousands of dollars. So that's not even, I'm saying it like that. He probably won't say it like that, but I'm put it out like that. I can't say their names, but Bishop is the guide from the side and not the maid from the stage to some of the people that y'all look up to. Now let me say this. Someone said, what happens if you don't have it? I got an answer. But what you say then, people say, what if you don't have it to give the $20 or to sign up for $144 for the next 12 months? What if you don't have that?
Well, you give what you have. Mm-hmm. See, if you don't have it, you'll never have it. You have to start with what you have. Give what you have and watch God work in the midst. I had a woman the other day. She got up and testified. This was yesterday, and she began to share. We asked her, "Why did you give the seed amount that you gave?" And she got up and she gave $3,000. Mm-hmm. And I said, "Why are you giving $3,000 today?" She says, "Because I sat here for months. I was in a struggle and a strain, and I could not give." So she was giving her $5 here, $10 here. She gave what she had. God opened up, broke forth for her, and now she has opened up her own pharmacy. See, so what I'm saying, you got to start with what you have. Don't start with your criticism, because to him that hath shall be given, but he that hath not, the moment you say you don't have, that which you have will be taken away. So the way you start to break the cycle of lack is give what you have. Yeah. Start with something. It's like in the South. You have that pump and you keep pumping and nothing's coming out. And my grandma said, you got to put water in it, grandson. Put water in it, Bernie. Why? You got to prime the pump. And most of us, because we have not been in the South, we don't know how to prime the pump. So you live in entitlement, like God is supposed to pour something out. But until you pour water into that dry pump, water will not come up out of the earth. That's just a law of nature, a law of life.
This is not the space that we have this type of conversation. But I just believe someone that is listening, this is important for you. And I know I hear on a public platform, the reason why I don't do it, because you get a whole lot of crazy people in the comments, but I don't even really care. But I know this is for someone. It was in 2019. By this time, after I stopped pastoring, I had pulled myself up to working all of my gifts. I was between $10,000 and $13,000 a month for my business, not for my pay. And I was in New York. Bishop Bloomer was up. And Bishop began to talk about the Teruma. And he had talked about it since March. And there was $1,000 seed that was called. I had $1,200. And he said, sow the seed, or it was something of this nature, like sowing in the future what you want to make and name it that. So I needed, in order to do what I need to do with the business. I mean, on paper, I'm an employee, but I started the MBNNetwork. And so I'm like, I'm the one that generates the income for the ministry. And I said, we need to be generating around 20 if I'm gonna be able to do this. And so I text about 7 people and I said, I'm about to sow a $1,000 seed. I have $200 left. This is 2019. I said, I have $200 left in my account. This was May 2019. I said, I'm sowing this seed and I will double what I'm bringing in now, $20,000 plus a month. And this will be, and I would do, no, I think I said I would do $20,000 every month. I would generate that for the business from here on out. I'm sending you this for a witness. Watch God do it. I'm giving my last. I done, on my worst month since then, I think I only done 26,000 was the least, and that only happened once. And I know why that was, because there was an area of disobedience in my life that I had to get rid of. That is the power of the seed. And I don't know why we went this direction tonight, because this is entertainment. This is not something I bring out here. My spiritual practice is that deep of spiritual practices and convictions, but I think it was meant to happen and it needed to happen. And we had.
Well, Larry, the reason you brought it up, and let's tell people to do this, it's for free. Download the Taruma app. It's spelled TARUMAH. It's for free. It don't cost you anything. We don't even collect data from you from this. The Taruma app, and go ahead and download that TARUMAH, and get it. It will let you know what the Taruma is, how much you should be giving to your supervising priest, giving to your church, giving to the poor. Many people don't practice as you do, Larry. You practice giving to the poor. I give to the poor. And I give a lot to the poor secretly, because that's the way that portion is supposed to be done. I give to my supervising priests, the people that I choose to deem to give to. I give to them publicly, because that should be announced, and they should heave that up before the Lord and command the blessing upon my life. And then I give my 10% tithe to the work of ministry. But what has happened is we started teaching pastors that the people can only bring their tithes. The pastors have paid the tithes. And I've told a lot of pastors, you have not paid the tithes of your people. They brought it to the church, but you never paid their tithes. And that's why the people are cursed and your church is cursed, because their tithes haven't been paid. And I began to confess that for the 36 years, or 36, the 38 years that I've been in ministry, I've just started paying the tithes of the people in the last year, because I didn't know how to pay the tithes. I was doing something that was good, but not God. And once I got that corrected, Larry, you talk about a game changer in my life, a game changer in my family life, a game changer in ministry, and a game changer in the way we do the work of the Lord. Our lives make no sense, because when you do it God's way, you won't lack God's supply.
Absolutely. All right. Well, we're going to let y'all go. Those of you that have actually ordered the t-shirts, it's COVID-19. And the supply is saying a little bit of this, a little bit of that, but it's coming. I ain't got mine either. Just going to let you know, because somebody just asked that question in the chat. I want to thank you guys for watching, for hitting like, and for sharing. And I also want to thank you guys for supporting every donation you sent. All of you that signed up, stick with me for the next year. Turn your notifications on so you can see when I pop up. And it's going to be a great ride. And you're going to get to have intimate conversation with me and with Bishop and all of the experts and the therapists and the smart, really smart people that we're going to be bringing on. This Thursday, Dr. Jill, October the 15th. The next Thursday, October the 22nd, Bishop Jordan. So that pushes us back with the therapy with the Clarks. So we're going to get that done. But there's so many people I'm introducing you to. If you would like to sow at this time to the MBN Network, you can do it through Venmo or to the Cash App. But make sure your phone number is in it so one of our prophets can give you a phone call. Your phone number, put it in the memo line and your first name so that they can call you. Or do it to info@thembnnetwork.org or text the word give to 404-800-4530 or go to our website right now, especially those of you overseas, LarryReidLive.com.
Oh, Larry, also I just want to say we want to honor the life of Bishop Barbara King, who made her transition last night, from what I understand.
Oh, wow.
There in Atlanta. I preached at her church there, got many people filled with the Holy Ghost over there. And we had a great meeting with her years ago, Dr. Barbara King. And I spoke with Bishop Pearson again tonight because he was one of those that helped install her into the bishopric. So there's a lot of history around that. And all I can tell you, some great things are happening in the body of Christ. We've got to be prepared for what God is doing next. But that's another great giant that has gone on to be with the Lord. She did something in ministry that most women of her day was not doing.
Wow. All right. All right. So, what Larry Monique put up there is hilarious. All right. So, I will talk to you later. Thank you, Bishop. See y'all later.
Bless you.
Goodbye.
Right,
Bye-bye.
Stay connected to Larry Reid Live. Take a moment and like the Facebook page. Subscribe to the YouTube page and hit the bell. Text Larry Reid Live to 33222. That's the words Larry Reid Live with no spaces to 33222 and get notified when we go live. Become a member of the Patreon. Log on to LarryReidLive.com, click Patreon, sign up, download the Patreon app, and turn on your notifications. Get connected today.
Larry